WTI crude was up 31 cents.
Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Preeti Kaur. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, India remembers Mahatma Gandhi on his 76th death anniversary. President, Vice President and Prime Minister attend prayer meet at Gandhi Smriti on the Martyrs' Day. India set to become the third largest economy in the world soon, with expected growth at 7% in the next few years. Aims to be a $7 trillion economy by 2030. Tensions mount between Washington and Tehran after drone kills US soldiers in Jordan. NSA John Kirby says don't seek war but vows to take all necessary action. India to take on New Zealand in the Under-19 World Cup Super 6-stage match at the Mangaung Oval in South Africa. A Sarva Dharma Pratna was organized at Gandhi Smriti as the nation observes the 76th death anniversary of Mahatma Gandhi. President Draupadi Murmu, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, besides Defence Minister Rajnath Singh and other leaders, paid floral tribute to the father of the nation. Earlier in a tweet, Prime Minister Modi remembered Bapu, saying, I quote him, I pay homage to Pujya Bapu on his Punyatithi. I also pay homage to all those who have been martyred for our nation. Their sacrifices inspire us to serve the people and fulfill their vision for our nation. India, which is expected to grow at 7% in the next few years, can aim to be a $7 trillion economy by 2030. Asserting this, India's Finance Ministry, in a report, Indian Economy, a review released ahead of the interim budget to be tabled in the Parliament on Thursday, said the Indian economy is expected to grow at a rate of above 7% in the coming years on the strength of its financial sector and other recent and future structural reforms. Based on this, it can aspire to become a $7 trillion economy by 2030. The report said the government's policies strengthened the supply side with investment in physical and digital infrastructure to boost output. The report said the government's policies strengthened the supply side with investment in physical and digital infrastructure to boost output. The report also said that India is expected to become the third largest economy in the world soon, with GDP or gross domestic product of $5 trillion. Indian naval ship Sumitra has carried out another successful anti-piracy operation off the east coast of Somalia. INS Sumitra rescued fishing vessel Al-Naimi and her crew, including 19 Pakistani nationals, from 11 armed Somali pirates after intercepting the FV on Monday. The Indian Navy's indigenous offshore patrol vessel had been deployed for anti-piracy and maritime security operations east of Somalia and Gulf of Aden. INS Sumitra, over the course of less than 36 hours, has rescued 2 hijacked fishing vessels along with 36 crew members, 17 Iranian and 19 Pakistani, in the southern Arabian Sea, and has prevented misuse of these fishing vessels as motherships or further acts of piracy on merchant vessels. The inaugural edition of the India-Saudi Arabia joint military exercise called Sada Tanseek is underway at Bikaner district of Rajasthan. The Saudi Arabian contingent, comprising of 45 personnel, is being represented by Royal Saudi Land Forces. The exercise aims to train the troops of both the sides for joint operations in semi-desert terrain under Chapter 7 of the United Nations Charter. The exercise will involve the establishment of mobile vehicle checkposts, cordon and search operation, house intervention drill, and reflex shooting, slithering, and sniper firing. The exercise will provide an opportunity to both the contingents to strengthen their bond. It will act as a platform to achieve shared security objectives, enhance the level of defense cooperation, and foster bilateral relations between the two friendly nations. The exercise will conclude on 10th February. India's Foreign Secretary Vinay Mohan Quatra met with Bhutan's newly elected Prime Minister Longchen Tshering Tobgay. During his visit to Bhutan on Monday, Quatra reaffirmed the close bonds of friendship between the two nations and assured Longchen of India's firm commitment to partner with Bhutan, aligning with the priorities of the royal government and the people of Bhutan. Quatra also met with Bhutan's Foreign Minister Leonpo Dongel and discussed important bilateral matters of mutual interest and also ways to further strengthen India and Bhutan's relations across all the sectors. India Energy Week 2024 anticipates the presence of 17 energy ministers, more than 35,000 attendees and 900 plus exhibitors. India's Petroleum Minister Hardeep Singh Puri said that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will engage in a roundtable discussion with the CEOs from the oil and gas sector. A detailed report ahead.
India Energy Week 2024 is expected to be a groundbreaking event that stands as an epitome of India's commitment to shaping the future of energy. Following the resounding success of the 2023 edition, this year's event, taking place from 6th to 9th of February in Goa, promises to be even more transformative.
India Energy Week, to that extent, is a golden opportunity for all these related developments on the energy front to be showcased and provide a platform for further development and growth. The event will also feature increased focus across the entire energy value chain, including 3 sessions on biofuels, 3 sessions on hydrogen, and 2 sessions on CCUS.
India Energy Week 2024 will be India's largest and only all-encompassing energy exhibition and conference, bringing together the entire energy value chain and will serve as a catalyst for India's energy transition goals. A gathering of over 35,000 attendees, 9,000 exhibitors, 400 speakers and 4,000 plus delegates converge from across 100 countries.
6 countries which will have pavilions there, 6 countries. This is apart from the exhibitors who are 900. 6 countries who have pavilions there. These are Canada, Germany, Netherlands, Russia, UK and USA. There is a Make in India pavilion with more than 300 exhibitors to showcase innovative solutions which are being brought forward by the Indian MSMEs.
In just 2 years, India Energy Week has set itself apart, fueled by India's robust economic credentials and a thriving investment climate. The stage is set for collaboration, discovery, and the forging of partnership that will define the trajectory of India's energy landscape. Delegates from over 100 countries will take part in the second edition of the India Energy Week that will take place in Goa. The stakeholders will be keeping an eye on the newest solution and find ways to mitigate the climate change impact, and at the same time find certain solution that will help in that. With camera person Beam, this is Tapush Bhattacharya for DNA India from Delhi.
Cold weather conditions prevail in northern India as residents witness dense fog conditions as well as snow in various regions. In northern India's Jammu and Kashmir, heavy snowfall blanketed the Pir Panjal range with thick snow causing road blockades. The Mughal Road, a vital link to the range, has been closed due to snowfall. DD India correspondent Shabir Dar tells us more from Srinagar.
We, witnessed the snow and rain from Sunday, and the precipitation increased, and this has brought, joy to both locals and tourists. We have seen the world-famous ski resort Gulmarg is again, awash with tourists. Tourists are thronging the place. Although the snow is not of, that quantity, but nevertheless, it is a change, from, complete barren lands. That Gulbarga is now, covered with snow. Tourists are back to Kashmir, and the economy will definitely gain from this change in the weather, and it will dawn a new, a fresh, start of the winter sports in many places in Kashmir, especially Gulmarg, where these Khelo India Games are likely to be held in the second week of February. Hardships to the people living in the higher reaches, but the authorities of the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir are upbeat, and they are in control of the situation. People are being provided the essentials and everything, and tour restrictions and travel restrictions are being issued for the people to ensure that they travel only if by following these advisories, so that no people face hardship anywhere.
Up next, we take a look at other stories making it to the headlines from across India. Delhiites on Tuesday witnessed dense fog and low visibility amidst continued cold conditions. The situation was the same in several cities of the neighbouring states of Punjab, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana. Flight and train operations remained affected due to fog. A suspected improvised explosive device was found in the border village of Sherpur in the northern Indian district of Kathua in Jammu and Kashmir. Police teams rushed to the spot along with bomb disposal squad. According to police sources, the device has been defused. The Maratha Military Landscapes of India has been announced as India's nomination for recognition as UNESCO World Heritage List for the year 2024-25. The 12 component parts of the nomination include several forts developed between 17th and 19th centuries in the Indian states of Maharashtra and Tamil Nadu, which showcase the strategic military powers of the Maratha rule. Handicrafts made from oysters and clams, which were found on Dhanushkodi beach in southern India's Tamil Nadu, were displayed in the city of Rameswaram. We're heading for a short break. You're watching DD India Live, but after the break, North Korea fires cruise missiles towards sea off the west coast. It comes a day after it tests submarine-launched cruise missile. Baloch activists signed petition demanding international action against Pakistan on the ongoing Balo genocide. And Elon Musk says first human patient receives Neuralink's brain implant.
Marking an end to the wait of nearly 500 years, this moment stays till eternity. January 22nd, 2024. This is the Ayodhya moment, the sacred moment for the devotees of Lord Ram spread across the world.
What does India Inc. want from the budget?
This is a good time for the government to even look at how it can show its performance, which will lead to predictable economic future of the countries. I would think a lot could happen in terms of even seeing how we can keep the continuance of investment-led growth. Things like uplifting of the rural economy, which is going to be an important area of work to do. I would really see how we are able to enhance rural economy, rural roads, irrigation, storage, warehousing infrastructure.
Welcome back after the break. You're watching DD India Live, and I'm Preeti. Let's get you more international updates. The White House said on Monday that the US is not looking for a war with Iran or seeking to escalate the tensions in West Asia in the wake of recent drone attack on its troop in Jordan. The attack on Sunday killed 3 U.S. soldiers and wounded more than 40 troops. It was the first deadly strike against U.S. troops since the Israel-Hamas war erupted in October and marks a major escalation in tensions that have engulfed West Asia.
We are not looking for a war with Iran. We are not seeking a conflict with the regime in a military way. And as I said in the opening, we're not looking to escalate here. This attack over the weekend was escalatory. Make no mistake about it. And it requires a response. Make no mistake about that. I will not get ahead of the president's decision making.
Meanwhile, the U.S. military on Monday released photos of the 3 U.S. troops killed in a drone attack on the U.S. base in Jordan by Iran-backed militants on Sunday. The soldiers were identified as specialists Kennedy Ladon Sanders, 24 years of age, Breonna Moffett, 23 years of age, and Sergeant William Jerome Rivers, 46 years of age. The Sunday's attack, which wounded dozens of other soldiers, was the first deadly strike against U.S. troops since the Israel-Hamas war erupted in October and marks a major escalation in tensions that have engulfed West Asia. Meanwhile, the Israeli army killed 3 Palestinian terrorists in West Bank's Jenin. It added that one of them was suspected of planning an attack like the October 7th Hamas rampage. 2 of the terrorists belong to Islamic Jihad. The overnight raid came as Israel struck Hezbollah military sites in Lebanon. It added that the strikes were conducted after multiple rockets were launched into Israel from Lebanon. Amidst the conflict, the future of hostages remains at stake, for which intensive deliberations are underway. Washington is seeking a humanitarian pause in the fighting in Gaza of sufficient duration that will allow a large number of hostages to be freed, reacting on which U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken termed it as strong.
The proposal is a strong one and a compelling one that, again, offers some hope that we can get back to this process. But Hamas will have to make its own decisions. I can just tell you that there is, again, strong, I would say, alignment among the countries involved that this is a good and strong proposal. And the work that was done over the weekend, including by CIA Director Bill Burns, was important in helping to advance this.
British Foreign Secretary David Cameron will travel to Oman on Tuesday, where he's expected to call for stability over the ongoing Houthi attacks in the Red Sea and de-escalation of tensions in the Middle East. Cameron, on his 4th visit to the Middle East, will travel to Oman to meet his counterpart, Badr al-Busaidi, to discuss how to diminish tensions across the region. Cameron will reiterate Britain's commitment to getting aid into Yemen and outline the actions Britain is taking to deter the Houthis from targeting ships in the Red Sea. In an earlier diplomatic tour, Cameron met Israeli Prime Minister, politicians in Israeli-occupied West Bank, and also visited Qatar. The Russian and Ukrainian armies remained in a tug of war in destroying each other's military targets by waging attacks and offensives on Monday. Russia announced control of a settlement of Tebevka in Kharkiv region, while Ukraine attacked Russian personnel and military equipment. Russian Defense Ministry said frontline troops successfully repelled 6 attacks in the Zaporizhzhia direction by Ukrainian armed forces. It added 1 projectile launched by high-mobility artillery rocket systems, and 35 Ukrainian drones were shot down by the Russian air defense system. The General Staff of the Ukrainian Armed Forces said Ukrainian troops launched strikes against 14 areas where Russian personnel, weapons, and military equipment were concentrated. The artillery forces attacked 2 Russian air defense systems and an electronic warfare station. North Korea has fired multiple cruise missiles into the sea in its 3rd such test in less than a week. South Korean and U.S. intelligence agencies have been closely monitoring the situation amid escalating tensions on the Korean peninsula. Last week, North Korea tested submarine-launched missiles. It is identical to the strategic cruise missiles that Pyongyang launched last week as part of an upgrade to its weapons system.
Our military detected multiple unidentified cruise missiles launched from the North Korea's west coast around 7 a.m. today. And South Korea and the US intelligence authorities are analyzing details. While strengthening surveillance and vigilance, our military is closely cooperating with the United States and monitoring North Korea's activities.
DD India correspondent Chris Gilbert joins us with more from Tokyo.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what further details emerge about these most recent missile launches. KCNA, the state media of North Korea, usually provides an overview of what happened about a day later and lets us know if Kim Jong-un was attending and other details like that. But there are two interesting things about this latest flurry of launches that I can see and that experts have been talking to me about. The first is that there is an uptick in military activity coming from North Korea. In 2022, we saw a record year of missile launches from Pyongyang. In 2023, we saw about half of that activity. Now, North Korea always says that it's trying to defend itself, it's working to protect itself, and that its missile tests, are done to that end. At the moment, we are seeing a slight uptick in that activity, suggesting that tensions are rising again on the peninsula. The other interesting thing is that unlike other missile launches we've seen, which have been single ultra-long distance missiles that were launched in 2022, bringing all of the United States within range, we're seeing lots of short-range missiles, anti-submarine missiles fired, either side of the Korean peninsula, suggesting that North Korea is much more focused on its immediate surroundings and its immediate borders at the moment. Well, the solid fuel missile empowers, any country which has it to effectively, store the missile fueled up and to launch it at short notice. And this is meant to be, a threat to the United States, to South Korea, to Japan, that any attacks or perceived acts of aggression against North Korea can be responded to, strongly with the nuclear capabilities, but also swiftly. They won't need to fuel up their missiles before they fire them. They can be effectively ready to fire at any time. It needs to be remembered that North Korea and South Korea are in a state of war, and they have been in a state of war since 1950. But experts question whether it's in any either country's interest to begin provocations again, especially not North Korea, as it's significantly outgunned. And looking ahead into the future, there's of course a wild card hanging above all of this, which is the US elections, and questions about what would happen if, for example, Donald Trump was to return to the presidency of the US. Experts have said to me that that would throw everything up in the air all over again. So the situation as we know it might not be the situation a few months from now, depending what happens in those elections.
Baloch activists have started signing a petition urging the international community to take immediate action against Pakistan on the ongoing Baloch genocide. The Baloch activists are demanding the UN and human rights organization to take action and hold the authorities accountable for their crime committed in Balochistan. Around 58,000 petitions had been filed at the time of filing this report. Recently, Pakistan witnessed a long march by Baloch Yakjehti community against the extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances of Baloch people. The committee had also started a social media campaign with hashtag I Stand With Baloch March to increase support for their movement throughout the world. Vietnam and the Philippines agreed to boost cooperation among their coast guards and to prevent untoward incidents in the South China Sea. The announcement was made during a formal ceremony in the country's presidential palace during a state visit to Hanoi by Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. The two memoranda of understanding on security covered incident prevention in the South China Sea and maritime cooperation among the coast guards. Vietnam also sealed agreements with the Philippines covering rice trade and agriculture cooperation. Mexico has termed the U.S. intention of closing borders with it as demagogic. The reaction came after Joe Biden said on Friday that a border deal being negotiated in the U.S. Senate was the toughest and fairest set of reforms possible and promised to close the border when it is breached. Elon Musk, Neuralink's billionaire founder, said the first human received an implant from the brain chip startup on Sunday and is recovering well. The first product from Neuralink will be called telepathy. Neuralink said the study uses a robot to surgically place a brain-computer interface implant in a region of the brain that controls the intention to move. And Hong Kong will impose a ban on single-use plastic products in 2 phases after lawmakers passed the bill last year, with the first stage set to take effect on April 22nd. Wooden alternatives will be available, but at a higher price. Residents using banned disposable items will not be considered breaking the law. On to sports now. India will clash with New Zealand in the ICC Under-19 World Cup 2024. Kick-starting off their Super 6 campaign on Tuesday. The match will take place at Mengong Oval Stadium in South Africa, commencing at 1:30 p.m. IST. The Indian team has been seen in a brilliant form as they reach the Super 6 stage as the Group A leaders. The boys in blue notched up easy wins against Bangladesh, Ireland and USA to look confident to continue momentum in the match on Tuesday as well. New Zealand registered a second-place finish in Group D, having earned 2 wins from 3 games in the tournament so far. Sri Lanka and West Indies will be involved in another Super 6 Group 2 fixture of the day. That's it in this edition of DD India Live, but let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X and also Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Preeti Kaur signing off, and from all of us here in Delhi, thanks for watching DD India Live.